Hello. Great. We do spacesuits, and I'm very proud to say that our chief designer is in the spacesuit in the picture. It's the Russian spacesuit currently used also in space, and as probably visible, it's quite outdated. It's a huge machine which takes a lot of liters of sweat to use on an hourly basis. It's a true kind of one-man U-boat that is built to survive the harshest environment currently known. And to kind of improve from that, artificial intelligence and especially also Earth Industries has proven quite important to be able to manage that environment. The backstory here is that, as you probably know, private sectors are really improving the capacity and availability of space. There are now lots of private space stations in development that will launch throughout the next few years. And in addition to that, the more governmental aspect of it has also improved, where different nations see a higher value in having boots on the ground, even like both on Earth while also in space. And having those boots on the ground gives you also the ability to decide, which is now also including having boots on the moon. If you want to have boots on the moon, you could either, if you are very lucky, get one of these 4 suits, which are the 4 suits left by NASA. They ordered 18 suits in the 70s, and of those, they have 4 left. They are, with other words, 50 years old, quite outdated, and exist a lot on pre-Apollo technology. The current need from NASA throughout the next decade is estimated to be around 300 spacesuits, and it is therefore quite important to improve the access for humans to actually be able to live, work, and thrive beyond Earth, and spacesuit is a very major part of that. And one can ask, what is actually a spacesuit? Why are they so few and expensive? They are designed to be able to keep you alive, which means they have to be bulletproof for micrometeorites. They have to be able to withstand the very harsh cold environment and the also extremely, at the same time, hot environment, while keeping you thermally stable, ideally with a lot of mobility, and be able to give you enough space and kind of strength to actually work and do something useful. And all these things are very, very difficult. Spacesuits are still to this day a very unsolved problem. You can lose up to 8 liters of liquid using a spacesuit today, mostly in sweat, which is kind of a huge struggle for both the suit and yourself. So, when you have something that is supposed to be bulletproof, carry out a lot of different operations in variations of scenarios, using different analogs is quite important for our development. We use a lot of different hostile environments to test our systems and are able to both improve the reliability and also price per system by having a larger market that is also quite interested in improving their mobility, their visual impairment, having more improved communication in these rural areas that are very dependent on people acting very fast and dynamically together to solve a very complicated problem, much as in space. The same also goes with underwater activities. We collaborate also with the deep-sea diving community in Norway, where having people in the very far depth of the Arctic Ocean is extremely cold, very dark, and very hostile, which simulates a lot of the environment in space. So being able to work with these user groups, understand what are their needs, and how can you make products that both works for them and in space has been one of our crucial challenges to solve. And it has brought us a lot of insight, much more market capacity, and enabled us to also improve the reliability of our products in development quite a lot more. The same also goes for combat equipment. We are working quite closely with the Norwegian Research Establishment for Defense and doing health monitoring for soldiers in active combat is also quite similar to doing the same with astronauts, health monitoring in space and spacesuits. You need to know that the human is alive. If your suit is not safe, you have a major problem, and you also need your user to be alive to have some sort of performance. An incapacitated user means often quite no performance. So that is why we design by evolving through use a lot on Earth and being able to target a lot of different Earth markets as well at the same time, increasing durability and also supporting a higher multi-mission scenarios, both for different surface scenarios on Moon, Mars, and beyond, while also advancing a lot of the technology and development on Earth as well. One critical part of that has been the development of our AI-controlled life support system for temperature regulation. We use reinforcement learning models and implement those with a lot of the biometric data, everything from mental workload capacity to galvanic skin sensors, which is essentially sweat and surface temperature of the skin, to make a model that is actively able to predict your own temperature, interest, and requirements throughout the short foreseen future, which is quite possible to develop with the new available smart materials and a modular development platform that allows you to test and develop different solutions at the same time. Currently, to do thermal regulation, this is NASA's state-of-the-art. It's a 50-year-old soft suit with lots of tubes running water throughout the surface of your body, and adjusting the temperature takes up to 4 minutes, which is quite a long time, especially when you vary your activation levels quite a lot. When you suddenly do a task that is very effort requirement and it increases your temperature, it still takes 4 minutes until the suit is able to cool you down. So this is really decreasing the performance of astronauts in space today, which is why we have implemented more adaptive thermal control. It both gives us opportunity to predict and understand active health situations and induce active countermeasures by, for example, heating a limb up before it's going to be set under strength under a more difficult operation. It also gives you a lot more critical insights. It reduces training, and being able to also monitor mental workload really also improves the quality and effort put into astronaut training and development, and it's also improving the availability and capacity of astronauts in space. So, dual use is a quite important market, and it's also quite important to understand and get input for new use cases, new developments, and new possibilities, which is why we are actively looking for more partners and then funding to continue to develop these solutions needed for enabling more boots on other celestial bodies, including the Moon, in the far foreseen future. Thank you for your time.